All right, hello and welcome back, everybody, to Chapter 1, Section 2.3. In today's lesson, we're going to learn about the Fertile River Valley. We're also going to learn about how new farm tools and new milestones led to more advancements made in human culture. So, our kind of main idea is that humans continue to advance as they developed new technologies. So, imagine that a great change took place all over the world. So everywhere at once kind of started to change, and it transformed how people lived forever. This is actually what happened when farming largely replaced hunting and gathering. So this was a pretty slow shift to growing food, and it began around 10,000 BC and ended around 8,000 BC. By then, many people had discovered that they could live year round on what they farmed rather than on what they hunted or found. It is important to note that people still did hunt. Obviously, we can't grow meat in the same way that we can grow food, and like raising animals and stuff can take a lot longer. So people still would hunt, but gathering food started to be replaced by farming. So, this shift in the way that people lived is often called the agricultural revolution. Agriculture is the practice of growing plants and rearing animals for food. Rearing is a fancy way to say growing or raising. This shift into agriculture also ushered in a new period known as the Neolithic Age, which began somewhere between 10,000 BC and 8,000 BC. And in the early stages of this period, people began to build farming villages. So now in kind of the timeline of human history, we're moving out of the Paleolithic era and moving into the Neolithic era. Many of the earliest farming villages were in an area called the Fertile Crescent. This region stretches from the Persian Gulf to the Mediterranean Sea. It includes the fertile flat floodplains along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers in Southwest Asia. Fertile soil encourages the growth of crops and plants. So, this specific region provided a really steady food supply. People were able to settle down and enjoy a much more comfortable lifestyle. So, even though people were able to settle down and their lifestyles did become more comfortable, was still really hard work for these early humans. To make it easier, the Neolithic people learned how to develop some pretty special tools. They fashioned hoes for digging the soil and plows for preparing the land to plant seeds. They also made curved sickles that cut through the stalks of grain and millstones that ground the grain into flour. So, in addition, farmers used domesticated animals to make their new tools much more efficient. They would do things like tying cattle to the plows, and then they would lead the animals up and down the rows. So, in addition to the cattle's taking the plows and using them to turn over the soil much more efficiently, they would also go to the bathroom whenever they were being walked up and down, which left behind manure that then fertilized the land. So the Neolithic people also developed new types of technology for their homes. They made clay pots and hardened them in kilns or ovens. The kilns could also be used to heat and melt metal that they found in rocks, which is a process called smelting. The liquid metal was then cast in molds to create metal tools, which did start to replace stone tools. And this is kind of when historians say the Stone Age really started to come to a close. All right, guys, so two takeaways from this chapter. New technologies allowed humans to farm better, which allowed them to start settling down and live more comfortable lives. And domestication continued to improve the lives of many people in the Neolithic age. Thanks for listening, guys. Go ahead and check back in Canvas to see what your next job is. Bye.